Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Well, g'day everyone, and welcome to the Cyber Uncut podcast. My name is Daniel Croft, and I'm a journalist at Cyber Daily, and I'm joined by
David Hollingworth.
senior journalist and deputy editor.
Yes. You might notice a few different things this cast. We're trying something different.
Yeah. A bit of a switcheroo, bit of a change up, but that's okay.
Yes, it is.
How's your week been?
Well, like all of them, it's been a busy one. I did have to take the day off yesterday because I had a bit of a flu thing.
Yep.
And I'm really glad I did because it went nowhere. So anyone out there, if you're a little bit sick, take that one day off. You deserve it. It'll probably help an awful lot.
Yeah, I had COVID a few weeks ago. And,
you did too.
It was pretty brutal. I think there's a pretty bad strain going around at the moment.
Yeah.
I know a few people who have got it. Some good, some bad. So
A mate of mine got it recently for the first time.
yeah, it was my first time too.
Far out. I don't know how you dodged it that long.
Yeah,
but,
I thought I was one of the immune ones. I thought I was just like, yeah,
Everyone
I'm
does
all good.
until they're done. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, now I know what everyone was, talking about, why it was so bad.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start off AI as we usually do.
What do you got on your plate?
So, eSafety Commissioner has updated the Online Safety Act. This is a goal to protect children from harmful AI.
Which is fair.
Yes, in the same sense as kind of the social media ban. There have been, I think, 6 new codes introduced under the Online Safety Act, and this would kind of just place restrictions on how many children are using this technology. Yeah. According to Julian Mangrant, the Safety Commissioner, Australian schools reported that kids between 10 to 11 are spending as many as 6 hours a day interacting with chatbots. Most of them sexualized chatbots.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not good. Not great.
So it's really weird. Like a couple of years back, I was absolutely pro eSafety Commissioner and all of their work. But I've got to say, everything to do with, say, the social media ban and everything, it's got me a little bit leery.
Yeah.
I would love to see their study of where those numbers come from.
Yeah, so this was reported by Australian schools rather than eSafety itself. That's where they got the statistic.
Well, that's in that case, I guess the schools would know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they've got
alarming.
like site monitoring and stuff for, child safety. So yeah, these are pretty much going to be introduced to kind of, again, verify the age of users and, again, international first. Australia really, really wants to pioneer this stuff. And I think this makes sense.
Well, I mean, we've already spoken about some bad outcomes from children interacting with
exactly.
We won't go into it too much because we don't want to get another trigger warning for this one.
For anyone who didn't interact or didn't listen last week, ChatGPT conversation led to a suicide.
Yeah. Okay. So, now we have to. Yes.
Yeah. So there will be a trigger warning, but I think it's important context.
No, you're right. You are right, and this is exactly the kind of thing that eSafety is trying to stop.
Yeah.
God, 6 hours a day.
I don't do anything for 6 hours a day.
We worked for 6 hours a day.
Look, that's true.
Okay,
Other than work.
More than 6 hours a day.
But just like spending time speaking to a chatbot, like
that is. But to a child, I mean, one of the things about these chatbots, and I did this myself. Some friends and I were talking about whether or not ChatGPT can know you. And so, you and I, we've both worked with ChatGPT a lot over the last few years for various different ways. And I thought, I'm going to ask what ChatGPT thinks of me. And it is so obsequious.
Okay.
It is so, you're intelligent and this, and you've done that. And that means you must be curious. And everything is done in a positive light.
Yeah.
And it was actually a little, more than a little disturbing. It even went through and did Myers-Briggs and ENTP personality testing, all that kind of gumph. And it was that obsequious nature which really worried me. And so I can see if a child's having that kind of a conversation with a chatbot where the chatbot is, but you're very smart and intelligent.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend. And that's,
Yeah, look, especially schools can be brutal and bullying can be really, really bad and everything like that.
I was just thinking exactly
if
that.
you've got
I was thinking
nowhere
of my
else
own memories of school and
likewise.
I probably would have liked a ChatGPT friend.
And that's it. Like, it's your comrade when you don't have a comrade. So Inman Grant again speaks about sexually explicit chatbots.
Yeah.
10 to 11, you're starting to get towards the age where curiosity peaks and, you have crushes on people and everything like that. And when that doesn't work out, same thing. But it is a very, very real concern that people are going to get exposed to this at an age where they might not be ready for it, or the parents don't feel it's right, or schools don't feel it's right, or anything like that. So yeah, look, don't get me wrong. AI bots already kind of flag things if they can identify someone that is underage, as far as I understand, or they will kind of restrict.
Theory.
Yeah, that's the theory. You're exactly right.
You're relying on a system that can't tell you how many blues are in the word blueberry.
Or bees.
Or
yes.
blues.
It probably can't tell you how many blues are in the word
one
blueberry.
blue.
Yeah.
One blue.
So yeah, look, I think this is actually really, really good. I've got more blanket support for this than I did the social media ban.
That's fair.
What I will say is that with how incorporated AI is becoming in terms of education, we're going to need to be careful how limited we can be.
Because it's going to be such a fundamental way of working in the future.
Yeah.
You don't want to, at the same time you want to protect them from it, you also want to get them ready to use it.
And we had the exact same argument in terms of social media. Like we use social media for work. We use LinkedIn and we use things to promote what we're writing and things like that. Having an understanding of how these programs work, kind of the decency and the way you're supposed to act on them and everything like that are important skills. With AI, potentially even more important. These guys, if they're 10, 11 now, they'll be entering, for any that are going into a corporate workforce, we'll be doing that in 10 to 15 years. By then, AI is going to have advanced much further. Dependency on it in workflows and everything will be much greater. So, again, it's very easy to fence it and go, oh, I like this and don't like this.
That, but you need to have a look at the whole picture.
But
it's the same way that, if you're banning children from social media, which again, I have conflicted and complex views on, it means they're not getting exposure to it. It means suddenly they turn 16 and they're unleashed on it. And they're just not ready for it.
Yeah.
So, do I have answers? Hell no. Do I even have a kid? No.
Yeah.
So I don't know why my take on this is even relevant. But no, it's a good move. It's a good move.
I think overall it is, Speaking of AI, we've got Veterans Affairs. They have become the first Australian federal agency to publicly trial AI-powered search.
So what's that? So for their records, for instance?
So the main reason that they've incorporated this is for, veterans and their families. There's a lot of policy and stuff to navigate.
Right.
And so they've now got an AI search feature on the site that's being trialed, I think, for a 6-month period or something like that, where you can look up specific things and it will summarize it and make it simpler.
That's a good use case, especially if it's trained on a limited data set.
I agree.
So that it can't hallucinate outside of those bounds, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But as you said, it's a 6-month trial. I guess they'll iron that out.
And that's it. It probably will hallucinate a lot. The other my concern hallucination-wise is getting policies confused.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the thing it's trying to defeat. If, I don't know, if a veteran's trying to do one thing, he goes, I need to follow this policy or whatever. It's hard enough when you need to dig through it and find it yourself.
Dig through there as well. Yeah.
But then if the AI is getting it right, great. If the AI is getting it wrong, it's doing that mistake for you. So, look, I think it'll be an overall really, really good thing.
I think it's another really interesting use case of AI, a positive use case of AI.
Yeah, me too.
It reminds me, one of my favorite YouTube channels, they do a lot of history documentaries, and they do a lot.
Yeah.
They did week by week all of World War II. They did a hour by hour and hour-long episodes of 24 Hours of D-Day. They do a lot of stuff. They've written a lot of copy and scripts, which they've put into a large language model. So they can ask this model, what did we say in episode X about this? So they can keep their own internal consistency right. And again, I think that's an outstanding and interesting use
I
of
do
that
as well.
kind of technology. And in theory, this is kind of the same thing.
It is, yeah. Look, and
they're already seeing problems with this, say, in the legal profession, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. Especially if policy and legislation and stuff are involved, where things can have a really, really critical effect. There are obviously concerns, but again, it's being trialed.
And as again, it's a good use case.
I tried it out.
I hate that one.
Yeah, I tried it out yesterday though, and for a while I thought the AI was being called Pat, because I looked it up and it said something about a bot called Pat, and I was like, oh, that must be what they've called it. Veterans Affairs didn't talk about that in their release, and then every time I referred to Pat again, it kind of went, don't know what you're talking about there, but here's this. I went, huh. So, and this isn't the first time
Okay.
that they're also kind of moving towards the whole of government AI environment.
Yeah.
So the rest of the government did I believe it was a co-pilot trial, and DVA, I think, was one of the agencies that went, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So they're going to look to adopt the tools that the rest of the government's using as well. They are moving towards this kind of AI implementation, and if it's happening government-wide, it makes perfect sense for workflows and everything like that, and kind of homogenizing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's generally quite good. It does things like filter out offensive language. It doesn't store personal data, doesn't train itself on interactions, which is one of my favorites.
That I like.
And it doesn't search internal systems. So, it can't be used for...
It's ring-fenced, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but overall, quite a good use, and we don't talk about them often.
No, we don't.
On
actually,
this.
no, okay. We'll chalk that one up to positive. This one I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, let's move on to one that has been received quite poorly.
It feels mostly harmless in that derogatory way that mostly harmless.
Yeah. You can't say harmless, but mostly harmless.
Yes, harmless.
So Vodafone Germany has launched an AI influencer for its TikTok videos. So, obviously influencers on TikTok, they're, it's like butter and bread. They go hand in hand. And they've got this influencer. Obviously, I don't understand German, so I couldn't understand it, but I was reading translations and stuff. It was pretty much talking about this new 1,000 megabit internet plan.
Yeah.
And just how great it is and everything. And a lot of people weren't happy. They really, really weren't. Most of the complaints were like, Vodafone, your service is rubbish. This isn't great.
Valid complaints, yes.
But some of them were like, why did you use an AI for something this simple?
Yeah.
So one person translated from German through TikTok, so I don't know how accurate this is, but they wrote, AI, could you not have just put a human in a living room? The amount of unnecessary energy and water wasted is crazy. Just because other stupid companies / people do it doesn't mean everyone has to follow suit. You could make a statement against AI. Really lame. And to another one, that they pretty much said, I don't know if I want AI to tell me what to do here on this app and on other socials. Is the social media team on vacation? Vodafone responded saying, no, our social media team is not on vacation, but we want to try out AI. It's so big in everyday life. So yeah, this isn't the first time they've done it either.
Yeah.
They recorded a full AI commercial. Every shot was AI. And it's not like it was anything spectacular. It was a very... so life-changing, and look how good life is when you've got our brilliant internet or brilliant phone plan or whatever. And it was published by a company called Lipstick AI.
Yeah.
And so the way they speak about it, they really sound like they've got this big team that worked on it. That it was like, a proper production, like when you've got actors and blah, blah, blah. But it was just AI. And they wrote, Lipstick AI Studio presents the groundbreaking new Vodafone commercial led by the global creative agencies and produced by AI. It's AI.
Yeah.
With this campaign, directed by Sebastian Strasser, Vodafone showcases its fearless commitment to innovation and cutting-edge technology. Progress is driven by those brave enough to explore the unknown. We at Lipstick are grateful to have produced such a highly technological and forward-thinking AI film. I would disagree on the forward-thinking remark or the brave remark.
Oh, yeah, any of that.
Yeah, I think it's...
Directed by what? Did he just suggest a few prompts?
I'm sure he did plan out how it would look and then just got AI to do it. The directing is not the bit I'm worried about. It's the production.
Yeah.
Forward thinking. Well, actually, it's just because it was simple and cheap, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Progress is driven by those brave enough to explore the unknown.
I know.
Once again, it's not that brave to not bet on it and go with the cheap option.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm pretty against this kind of thing. Obviously, a lot of Vodafone users are pretty against this kind of thing. I'm
imagining like a post-human future where all that's left is basically like AI bots desperately chatting to each other, trying to promote their brands that haven't existed for centuries.
Yeah, well, look, eventually you could have AI advertising to AI. Who knows?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Clankers.
AI consumers take every human out of the loop entirely. Fantastic.
We will go to a short break and then it's time for some cyber. Welcome back to the Cyber Uncut podcast. My name's Daniel Croft, and I'm joined by...
David Hollingworth.
There we go. All right, so Zscaler.
Yeah, so they're in good news from them. Well, actually, no, it's bad news from them, but we're not talking about them getting hacked, which they did kind of by the whole sales loft drift thing.
Yep.
Anyway, what they have done is they have released their latest ransomware report, and it's not great. It's really, really not great.
Yeah.
So here are some of the figures. 230 terabytes of data stolen in 1 year. And that's just from 15 ransomware groups.
Oh, jeez.
How horrifying is that?
And this is just Australia or
No,
international?
that's international.
Okay.
That's international. That's
Okay.
global. But in Australia, it's pretty troubling because it has been doubling.
Well done.
Hey, I saved that one. So over the last 12 months, ransomware attacks in Australia have risen by 110%. And I find that a really, really interesting figure because do you feel as though attacks have doubled that we've covered?
No.
No.
I think, and we've discussed this before,
We have.
you know, that it's kind of seemed quieter.
Yeah, but I think, and I've spoken to some people about this, what we're seeing is a lot of unreported attacks.
I think
what we're
that's exactly
seeing
the case.
is ransomware actors who don't follow the shame and leak thing. So if I'm the hacker and you're the victim, I talk to you, we negotiate, you pay. It doesn't even make it to the leak site.
Yeah.
No one knows.
I would love
and,
to...
And I think that's what's happening below the surface here.
I would love to hear, obviously this is a really difficult statistic to get, but how many people are paying ransom? What percentage of organizations are paying ransoms?
Yeah.
Again, no one's going to admit that, so it's a kind of...
Now they kind of have to in Australia, but again...
Well, that's true, but...
By law they have to. Will
doesn't mean they will.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and so like that 110%, that's
it's
here.
just crazy. I mean, it could be worse. Like it could be the US, which accounts for 50% of all ransomware incidents around the world. And let's see, what's some of the figures there? 3,671 ransomware incidents in one 12-month period, a figure that exceeds attacks against all other countries in the top 15 targeted countries combined.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised it's the US.
No, it isn't.
But that number is alarming.
It is huge.
You know, if you just average out the half of that 230 terabytes.
So the ones that follow, like UK and Canada and other quite large economies, they're in the single digits.
Yeah.
We are number 8, which is, yay,
good
go
for
Australia.
us, yeah.
Just absolutely alarming figures. And I kind of agree with what Heng Mok, CISO in residence for APJ, said. Now is the moment for businesses and government leaders across ANZ and APAC to reassess their cyber resilience and business-aligned cyber strategies. What's required is a fundamental shift in strategy towards a modern defensible architecture, one that embraces zero trust as the new foundation for security. I've been doing this now for 3 years, and I've been reading pretty much that quote from cybersecurity specialists like this guy for that entire time. No one's listening.
Yeah, I just don't think people know. People don't understand it. People don't hear it.
Education is absolutely the killer one. I moderated a panel recently at Tech and Gov in Canberra, and that was one of the topics that we covered, is that getting the basics out is just so hard, even for someone like the ASD.
Yeah.
Talking about Essential 8 uptake and trying to hammer that through to small and large businesses alike is like pushing a rock uphill.
Should cyber stuff be taught at school? Like at least on a fundamental level for a personal, not for going and becoming a cyber professional. That's another thing, and I think that could also be good. But do you think that cyber
basic
kind of
hygiene?
Basic know-how. Yeah,
if it isn't already, it absolutely should. I mean, honestly don't know, but I mean, the basics. Yeah.
None was taught to me, and I was at school, 10, 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we weren't taught anything to do with, security online.
Yeah, so, many schools have computer classes, and I would say that should absolutely be a main component. Password hygiene, how to trust sites with your personal data, all of that basic stuff. I think that should be started young when you've got fun, compulsory IT lessons. Then when you go off and do electives and stuff, then you can maybe look at, you want to be a cyber professional? Here's some basics. You want to do this? You want to do this? Absolutely.
You want to do this?
Absolutely.
But I'm not an education genius, so I don't know how you'd reshape the curriculum. But I think that could be cool. I think that would be really beneficial.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
Just not professional educators.
Anyway. Next, we have the ACSC and their advisory on Akira.
Yes. So the Akira ransomware gang, they're also one of the top threat actors in the world.
We've reported on them for years.
Many, many times. I hate their leak site. It is this cheap retro green and black thing that
Matrixy.
you actually have to use a command line to access, and it's always annoying. Assholes. Swear jar. But no, so they're actually at the moment targeting Australian organizations via a vulnerability in sonic wall firewall devices. Now, what's fascinating here is last month, a whole mess of cybersecurity companies were like, hey, we're seeing a lot of activity targeting these devices. Maybe there's an unknown 0 day.
Yep.
Maybe there's something we need to be really, really worried about. And late last month, Sonic Wall finally went, we worked it out. It's a year-old vulnerability. Guys, it's a year-old vulnerability. And that's now what the ACSC is saying. They released a Act Quickly alert, not Act Now, which is, I'd love to know that, people sitting around a darkened room in the ACSC headquarters going, should they act now or just quickly? I think quickly's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've said they should act. We are aware of the Akura ransomware gang targeting vulnerable Australian organizations through Sonic Wall SSL VPNs. The vulnerability enables an attacker to achieve unauthorized access and in specific conditions causes the firewall to crash. Arguably not what you want a firewall to do.
No, typically you want them to stay up.
Yeah.
I'm no expert.
No expert, but it sounds like a thing you want.
Yeah.
And so Sonic Wall said they're aware of about 40 organizations that have been targeted, but Sonic Wall hasn't been talking much about Akira. Some security analysts have been talking about Akira, and now the ACSC is confirming it, and they're going after Australian orgs. Don't know how many, but if you're listening and your organization runs Sonic Wall firewalls and you haven't patched them recently,
Do that
now.
Yeah. We'll say act now.
Yeah. What I love is the idea that Sonic Wall's like, it's a 0 day. Oh no, it's a year-old thing. We warned you about it. We told you to.
Yeah. And that goes once again to just cybersecurity not being taken seriously enough.
It's one of the essential 8.
Yeah.
Patch.
Yeah.
Patch.
Yeah. Again, simple.
Yeah, absolutely simple. Yeah, it amazes me, and I was speaking to someone recently about this. Someone from the US who was saying like, I really, really dig what you guys have done with the Essential 8 because it's just the basics.
Yeah,
and with just those alone, you knock out 90% of all threats.
Yeah.
And I can absolutely believe that. But yes, so Akira is on the warpath, and they're targeting us.
Yeah,
be warned.
JavaScript.
Okay, this one's crazy. I really. It's weird when I say this is a fun one. It's not a fun one. I mean, it's not.
They're never fun.
There's nothing
Let's
fun
be
about
honest.
this at all. A hacker managed to target the maintainer of a whole mess of JavaScript packages, or NPM packages. NPM is basically a big hosting service for a lot of bits and pieces of JavaScript that you can just download, plug into your code, off you go.
Yeah.
This poor maintainer got hit by a phishing email that he thought was coming from the NPM website saying, you need to update your password. It looked legit.
Yeah.
He did it. His repository is compromised. And what the threat actor did, and this is kind of bold, is went into 18 of these packages, which are downloaded billions of times every week, by the way. That's the reach.
I'm looking at the numbers now. 47.17 million, 191 million. Whoa.
Yeah. And he injected malicious code into each one, and the code is basically crypto malware. It sits on your machine and waits for you to do a crypto transaction, and it hijacks it without you even knowing. It changes the wallet address, so the funds you're transferring somewhere, I don't know, buying drugs in the darknet, go to someone else, and your money just disappears.
I thought you were referring to like mining, like getting like devices to start mining.
No,
because when you've got that many million or billion devices,
you do that. Yeah. Thankfully, it was caught very, very fast.
Okay,
and
cool.
everything was taken offline. But I absolutely feel for the poor maintainer. I
love his quote here. Sorry, everyone. I should have paid more attention. Not like me. Have had a stressful week. We'll work to get this cleaned up.
And I think that's the thing. We often talk about how these mistakes happen, and social engineering works best when people are stressed.
Yeah.
We see it when people try and overload someone with just a whole lot of questions, or MFA fatigue, for instance.
Exactly.
Is a classic example.
Yeah.
The example we talked about a few podcasts ago of a pen tester showing how easy it is to get control of someone's account by playing in the background a YouTube vid with a baby crying just to add that little bit of verisimilitude to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my baby, I need your help. And
Yeah.
suddenly you've got someone who's sympathetic to you.
Yeah, pressure.
And I saw a screenshot of this phishing email. It looked legit.
Yeah, see, that'd be the kind of thing I'm not certain I wouldn't fall for. A password
It looked
reset
legit,
email.
and even the URL looked legit. It wasn't misspelt. It wasn't correct either. But I can see why he fell for it. And especially it's rough. It's something he knew he should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
So he felt he was doing himself a favor.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you hacked.
An effort to do good cyber practice that has led to bad cyber practice. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's the sheer scale of it. Now, thankfully, it didn't go far. But boy, mind you, all this guy needs is for one or two of those transactions to go through. And he could have made a lot of money.
Yeah, he could be
He
sold
or
it for
they
life.
or she or whoever.
Yeah.
Probably a furry, let's be honest.
Yeah, well, look,
Non-zero chance that this is a
statistically,
furry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's the sheer numbers involved. Billions of downloads each week. Like a percent of a percent of a percent. That's all the hacker needs to be rich.
Well, with those kind of numbers, you could have it for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, you could
it's
have
all
that
it
kind of
takes.
like access
Yeah.
for a minute, and that many people download it.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, but my heart goes out for the poor guy. I mean, having to say to everyone, it happened.
Yeah.
But it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it was dealt with, so yay.
Yeah. Now, JLR, Jaguar Land Rover.
Jaguar Land Rover.
I was, when you picked this story up, I was like, because I'm a
the
big
car
yeah,
story.
the car story. But no, it's looking very
It's looking bad and worse.
It reminds me a lot of Marks and Spencer's, and I will touch on that. But you started on this, so I'll let you start.
Initially it was like, and Jaguar Land Rover came out and said, "Yep, okay, this happened to us."
Yep.
Big notice on their website saying that some production systems were affected. Not just some production systems, because you followed this one up,
Yeah.
and it's going to be affected until next month.
Potentially longer.
Yeah. And this is their production lines.
Yeah, so they had told all their staff, stay home,
Yeah.
bank your hours. We'll still pay you normally, but you'll just need to pick up some extra hours to make up for it, which I don't like that, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
So-
we're not HR leader. We're not talking about HR practices.
No. So, the
could.
manufacturing plants in Solihull, Wolverhampton, and Halewood on Merseyside, all the staff were told to stay home. I believe there were a couple of other
Yeah, I think
operations
there's one up in
that
Canada as well that got compromised.
Yeah, these were just the British ones. So JLR, Jaguar, and Land Rover you think of as British companies.
They're not.
They're Indian. They're
Yes.
owned by Tata. And so, they have international operations and everything.
Yeah.
Now, until this point, they'd said we've got no evidence that any customer data had been lost.
However,
They've since said, okay, no, it definitely customer data had been compromised. They put a statement up on their website today they saying that they'd been working with third-party cybersecurity specialists to try and restart every operations, get things back to normal. They said, as a result of our ongoing investigation, we now believe that some data has been affected and we are informing the relevant regulators.
yeah, they haven't said what kind of attack, but this has all the evidence of a ransomware attack.
Now, it is believed to be our good friends Scattered Lapsus Hunters, who are probably the same guys as M&S.
Yep.
Now, M&S were out for 4 months
Yeah.
as a result of this. So hopefully JLR does learn from this. However, JLR have operations going a little bit better than M&S did. So they've got car dealerships and repair garages still going. Some of them are going on to pen and paper and manual systems, but they're still going. People can still, take their car in, repair it, buy a new car and everything like that. So they're not as stunted as M&S is.
Yeah.
So, that's a good thing. I don't know if that means encryption wasn't as bad. There's nothing really known. But
Well, the
this
thing is
could
that if
last
it's
quite a
if it's
while.
impacted production lines, we're talking operational technology.
Yes.
And, that is a lot of really complex systems, often which are legacy, and you take them offline, and how do you get them back online?
Yeah.
You don't back up the software on your mechanical robot arm. I don't know,
Yeah,
you probably
exactly.
do. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But clearly it's that kind of thing that's happened here. Yeah. And you're right. It has all the hallmarks of those guys.
Well, look, cars when they get delayed, we saw it in COVID.
Yeah.
Prices skyrocket.
Yeah.
So who knows? This kind of delay in manufacturing or whatever happens could lead to Jags getting real expensive, and not that they aren't, Land Rovers
More
as well.
expensive, I think
Land
you mean to
Rovers,
say.
Range Rovers, they may all get quite
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah.
Who knows?
It's and it's in. So one, this is another one of those instances that prove that this kind of thing can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, if these guys can have their systems taken offline, I mean, we need to worry about the small businesses who just don't even have the level of capacity that JLR has to bring in those third-party experts to help them, and they're still struggling to recover. I mean, woof, that's rough. The other thing is, I also think we need to be a little bit careful. It just occurred to me that it's very easy to go, it's scattered spider, it's shiny
No, I
lapses
agree.
hunters, I think we need to be a little bit more toned in that. Do I agree? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe because we've been covering them a bit, and
They've also claimed
it. Have they?
Yeah, they were boasting about it.
Oh well.
And it was
there you go.
they I think they said something like,
Whoa.
"Where's my Jag? Where's my Land Rover?" or something like that. So no, it wasn't just a stab in the dark.
Right. Gotcha.
But no, they have
That
claimed
makes me
it.
an idiot.
Where is my new car, Land Rover? They said on
Right.
Somewhere on Telegram that we have not been able to track down.
Oh yeah, they must have like some kind of locked chat that you can't search for.
Yeah.
But that clearly some security analysts, like Dark Web Informer, have managed to get inside, or they've got people inside. I don't know. It's all very
It's
very
one of
weird.
those things where I think it's just
Yeah.
invite only, link access only.
Yeah. But okay, cool. So it was them. Great.
Yeah. And also, speaking of smaller businesses that could have been affected by it, I think there was 4 or so suppliers of theirs. Their staff are also being told to take.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're that's really interesting. So if you're a supplier of parts to a production line which is no longer running,
Yeah, what do you do?
What do you do?
I'm guessing.
I hadn't even considered that.
I'm guessing if these
The
are small
downstream
suppliers,
impacts,
JAG's going to be one of your big money makers, right?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know these companies. They could be dealing with, tons
Multiple
of
companies.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But I would imagine Jag and Land Rover have a lot of pretty bespoke parts.
Well, yeah. As far as they're kind of a step up from your Toyota for
Yeah,
sure, and maybe even
certainly.
your Beamer in
Yeah.
terms of Range Rover at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
But yeah, companies Certec, Op Mobility,
Yeah, I didn't even
WHS
think-
Plastics, and EvTech.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the blast radius or something like that, but that is...
Yeah,
Wow.
so their staff are at home as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what the policies are on those staff. That's
Hopefully good as
impacting
well,
them,
yeah.
so. But anyway,
yeah, that's quite a thing.
yeah,
It sounds like one of those things we'll probably be covering for the next little while, I imagine.
I think so. We've had a few of those. Change Healthcare was like that.
Yeah,
Co-op
Marks
and
and Spencer
M&S
and all that
was.
stuff,
You know,
yeah.
so we will update you. We will keep
Watch
you
this
posted.
space.
All right, we're going to go to a small break, and hopefully, and definitely not probably, or maybe some, good news.
God. Bye.
Welcome back to the Cyber Uncut podcast. I'm Daniel Croft. He is
David Hollingworth.
Well done.
You had me having this real existential crisis there. It was like, we might be back, we may not.
Oh,
What?
we may have good
What?
news.
We may, yeah, look,
Yeah,
every day when we prep earnestly for this, i.e. a 5-minute chat and some notes scribbled in Google Notes, do we have any good news this week? And I think we do.
Well, we've already spoken about some good things as well.
We have,
So,
yes.
there's our excuse if none of this turns out to be that good.
Okay, but no, I think you're right.
So we're going to start off with Google. So Google has been fined by the EU for anti-competitive
And
practice.
a not insignificant fine.
No, it is quite significant. All right, yeah, Google was fined 2.95 billion by the EU for anti-competitive ad tech. Now they've got a history of this, which I am going to get into. So from at least 2014, the EU Commission has said that Google has violated Article 102 of the Treaty of the Functioning of the European Union, and it did this by prioritizing its own ad tech services over competitors.
Yep.
So it did this
That is anti-competitive by its very nature.
by
Yep.
default. Yeah, they pretty much were alerted to other people's ad bids, other competitor ad bids, and then it using that it could just secure auctions.
Yeah.
And therefore, beat out all the competition and dominate with its own advertising software, ADX. In turn, ADX was like, oh, everyone just, people would go, oh, that's the one I'm going to go with. That's the ad tech service I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
So the EU has said to Google, you need to halt all self-preferencing practices, take steps towards promoting competition, and obviously pay your nearly 3 billion euros.
Whoa.
So Google's global head of regulatory affairs, Lee Ann Mulholland, speaking with Bleeping Computer, said that they're going to appeal this and that what it's doing is not anti-competition, which, as we've established, I don't know about that. So she said the European Commission's decision, or Leanne, yeah, I would say that's a female. The European Commission's decision about our ad tech services is wrong, and we will appeal. It imposes an unjustified fine and requires changes that will hurt thousands of European businesses by making it harder for them to make money. I get what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm not Google. I'm not sure.
Yeah. There's nothing anti-competitive in providing services for ad buyers and sellers, and there are more alternatives to our services than ever before. That may be the case, but you're squishing them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really agree.
Google, you have reach. You're Google.
Yeah.
Your very name is the name for what people do when they look for things.
They've also got a precedent of this. 3 times the EU has fined them for anti-competitive advertising. 2017, $4.34 billion euro fine.
This is chump change for Google, obviously, as well.
Yeah. Illegal practices regarding Android mobile devices to strengthen the dominance of Google's search engine.
Yep.
2018, the EU claimed that Google had abused its search engine dominance to prevent other companies from competing in online search and comparison shopping searches.
Yep.
There's another 2.42 billion euros. 2019. So 3 years in a row, they've got the hat trick. Google was fined for blocking ads displayed by competitor advertising companies on publisher search result pages.
You see, that is actual...
There's nothing not anti-competitive about that. There's a lot of you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and you know, in the US, Google's been in strife as well. In a years-long lawsuit, they were fearful they were going to have to sell Chrome. This was a search engine dominance thing. And luckily they didn't, but they had to pay some ridiculous amount that I do not have right here.
A large sum, yes.
And they said that the reason that they got to keep Chrome was because of search engines.
Yeah.
AI search engines or AI chatbots. So I've kind of explained this quite poorly. So instead of selling their Chrome browser, they've been told they have to share all their search material with other companies, including AI, who will obviously use it for training.
Of course, yeah.
And so that's how they've dodged it. And they're like, great, AI search technology has saved us here. However, if people are increasingly using AI chatbots and search engines over Google, that could be an even greater issue.
Yeah.
So look, they've dug themselves out of the dirt for now, but this could be a problem later on.
Yeah, definitely.
So they said today's decision recognizes how much the industry has changed through the advent of AI, which is giving people so many more ways to find information. This underlines what we've been saying since this case was filed in 2020. Competition is intense and people can easily choose the services they want.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Then why does everybody choose Google? Bing does a crazy thing, and I saw this a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where I'd gotten a new laptop and it came with Bing on, Internet Explorer or whatever it's called now. It was probably Explorer at the time. And when I went to download Google Chrome, it said that I would be, alluded to the idea that I would be killing polar bears by doing so because it does things to save polar bears. And I was like, that's pretty effective, but not that effective.
Wow.
Thank you, Chrome.
Yeah, okay.
So there is dominance enough that the killing of polar bears is not enough to stop people going to Google, me included. So the dominance is there.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, that's a bit of a personal anecdote. All right, let us move on. The Law Council of Australia.
Yeah, so Law Council of Australia has come out and they've basically gone, bravo, Australian government. You're doing really, really well with our big cybersecurity strategy.
Yep.
We're passing Horizon 1 of what we need to do, and Horizon 2 is on the horizon. I had to say that. I need to. But now they're called out basically saying, but you need to do more to help small businesses because the compliance and regulatory landscape is getting more complex and more needs to be done. So I'll just read out the words here of the President of the Law Council of Australia, Juliana Warner. Data protection, especially for sensitive personal information, is vitally important. And that cybersecurity management should no longer be considered optional. I mean, anybody who listens to this podcast would know, we all agree with that 100%.
100%.
However, as we strive to address cyber threats, we must be cognizant of the regulatory and cost burden this can create, particularly for small and medium businesses.
Absolutely.
She also goes on to point out that many law firms around Australia are single-person practices, so therefore the overhead for them is massive, and the capacity for damage, as we have seen in leaks from law firms and barristers' chambers and what have you, intensely personal information, legal information that often
confidential.
Confidential.
There we go.
Confident. Small businesses are increasingly under pressure to manage compliance and risk associated with cybercrime, privacy and data security, and other reporting obligations. Wants the government to do more, and I kind of can't. This kind of goes back to the fact that education is such a hard thing. Like the government's backing cyber wardens, for instance, and I guarantee you there are companies out there that don't even know cyber wardens exist. So I don't know the solution to this problem, but clearly there is an issue in supporting small businesses deal with this issue.
Our day-to-day activity completely backs what she's saying. 99% of the Australian attacks, or even international, well, we don't report on those international ones.
But no, we see
Australian
them.
attacks, but we see them. 99% of the cyber attacks we see are small businesses. And, when you're talking about healthcare organizations like Janeer, I know Janeer is a pretty big thing, but they would be classed as an SME. We saw that healthcare one a year or two ago, where they literally had physical storage of data in their shed.
And some of the data that was now compromised the dark web with things like security camera footage of patients having issues in there. Just wild.
These businesses really, there is a lack of understanding and then a lack of capability to reach compliance and everything, a lack of funding to bolster their security. I completely agree that this is where we need to be looking first. The majority of the attacks, and realistically, a massive group of people, when you combine all these SMEs into one affected by cyber attacks, it's a massive cross section of the population.
It is,
if that's where you start, I think that would be great. And moving on to education, it would move on. I think it would be have
But also to talk
effect.
about the scale of, because we mostly only cover Australian stuff unless it's big overseas stuff or car companies because we like cars. Between the 7th of September and today, 100 ransomware incidents. Around the world. And looking through this list of victims for one of our open source intelligence feeds, they're all small to medium enterprises. There's a small architectural firm, a small law firm, computer services. You name it. It's in here, and they're all tiny. And they're losing terabytes and gigabytes of data to these criminals every day. It's just mind-boggling.
I'm looking at some pretty crazy ones. So there's one here that is a data protection and storage company. There is a childcare and preschool. Again, you've got engineering firm, law firm, driving school.
A hospital, a jeweler's, research firms. It's just Kuwait Portland Cement. I don't know if that's in Kuwait or in America, but it's a cement company. It's just wild. So the burden of these attacks falls mostly on small to medium enterprises. And they're the ones who need the most help. So bravo to the Law Council for saying do more government.
I think we agree with everything said there.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to move on to more AI. This one is... I mainly added this one because I had a great headline for it. Warner Brothers is suing Midjourney, the AI image generator, for stealing some of its iconic characters. These include Batman, Scooby-Doo, Bugs Bunny, Wonder Woman, and people were then allowed to create their own AI images of these characters, all without the permission or knowledge even of Warner Brothers. So Midjourney was founded in 2022, and when it was founded, they had a policy of not allowing copyrighted material to be included. However, and Warner Brothers points this out as an understanding that they knew what they were doing was wrong. They changed that because what was the reason? Let me find it here. They said that copyright law does not confer absolute control, which makes me very angry. This whole fair use argument is rubbish. Yep. That's the argument they make. So yeah, $300 million estimated revenue, 21 million users, and they're being sued for some. Actually, I don't know if I've actually got the amount in the story. I don't think it was listed. So
I'm going to say a lot.
It will
Mind
be
you, also. Look, the judge is yet to. It's a case before the court. The judge will find. Yeah.
So Warner Brothers said Midjourney has made a calculated and profit-driven decision to offer zero protection for copyright owners, even though Midjourney knows about the breathtaking scope of its piracy and copyright infringement.
Yeah.
So they have said that Midjourney needs to halt the generation of copyrighted characters and pay a disgorgement of profits and unspecified damages.
Yeah.
The heart of what we do is develop stories and characters to entertain our audiences, bringing life to the vision and passion of our creative partners. We filed this suit to protect our content, our partners, and our investments.
Mm-hmm.
Disney and Universal Studios also have sued Midjourney for the exact same reason, because characters like Shrek, Ariel from The Little Mermaid, Bart Simpson, and Darth Vader.
First, they came for Darth Vader, and we said, "Sure, take him. He's an evil bastard."
That's all going on, and I hope Midjourney gets the book thrown at them for this. Honestly, you know my stance, and you've got the same stance against using copyrighted material for profit.
Absolutely,
being an AI giant.
Yeah,
disgusting, horrible.
Go Warner.
So that could be good news, I think.
Hopefully good news.
Yeah, and you know what?
Look, anyone holding these AI giants to account, I'm all for.
I deem that good news. In fact, I think all three were good news. I think we were quite successful.
Yeah.
And on that positive note, I think we will call it for today.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the switch up.
No, more confidence. More
confidence. All right. Yeah. You did enjoy the switch up.
Yes, that's it.
I'm Daniel Croft.
I'm David.
And we'll see you next time. Oh, and check us out on socials. And I don't have the spiel for this.
Do check us out on socials.
Thank you.
Listen to the master.
Yeah.
Check us out on socials. Sign up to our newsletter. We're all over LinkedIn. Cyberdaily.au.
And thanks very much. Oh,
beautiful. Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.